any single guy can go from a 3 out of 10 to at least a 6 out of 10, or even better, a 7 out of 10. No matter where you come from, no matter your genetics, if you're black, white, yellow, green, orange, it doesn't matter. Why? Because I did it myself and I was absolutely cooked back in the day. But now I think I look all right. I think I advanced myself to like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Nothing completely special, but from where I was at, and thinking that I couldn't change and that I was just born this way and that's how I was to look forever, to where I'm at now, well, it's quite a massive difference. And there's a few things that I want to explain to you in this video that got me here and how you can do the exact same thing. The first thing we have to understand about why this is so important, why you should be trying to actually improve your looks and go from a 3 out of 10 or whatever you might be right now, is because looks determine almost everything. First impressions matter so much. You remember back in our parents' day, the people around us, our neighbors, we were naturally becoming friends with them. Where we'd get a girlfriend, your parents probably found their first girlfriend from someone who was just 3 houses down the road. But nowadays there is so much influence on the media, online, there's so much competition everywhere, so you have to be able to stand out. And if you don't, then you're gonna live a shit life. The first impression that anybody will have of you will likely or absolutely determine how they're going to treat you. If somebody looks at you and thinks that you're ugly or that you're not attractive, they instantly lose respect. That's why when you look at somebody who's fat, when I look at somebody who's fat, I instantly lose respect in them. I don't even know, they might be a good person. They could be a multi-million-dollar businessman who gives back to the homeless people in Africa. I don't care. I just instantly lose respect and I don't like them, because their first impression to me was not optimal. And in the modern day and age, we need to optimize our first impression basis. So if you're going around looking like a fucking 3 out of 10, just like I was back in the day, there's no other explanation as to why I was being treated like shit and why I felt like I couldn't fit in and why I was never able to be the center of attention and somebody who was able to be social and confident and get respect and attraction. There's no other explanation for that. It simply comes down to looks, because looks is the entrance point. Looks is the door, the foot in the door method. And unfortunately, we live in a biased world where attraction and looks matter 99% of the time, and they determine 99% of the outcomes. The way looks are perceived is simply through the two main senses in this case, which is going to be visual and smell. So there's a few steps you can take right now, and once we optimize ourselves so that other people can perceive us better with their vision and with their sense of smell, then we're going to be able to ascend and advance ourselves and gain more respect and gain more attraction, which is exactly what you probably want, and it's exactly what I wanted when I was younger and what I'm starting to get now because I've made the effort. Now, this advice is not limited to facial techniques and looksmaxxing techniques, fucking doing some of these ones to try and like improve our eye shape and stuff. It's not really about that. It's about the truth of the matter that we can still improve our looks and not actually do much to our face at all intentionally, and still improve our looks and our overall attractiveness and get more respect and more attraction in our male life. There are short-term things that you can do right now to improve yourself, and there are also long-term things to improve yourself. So I'm going to start with the short-term, but first I want to start with the absolute non-negotiables. And there are two main ones. The first one is super important, that you cannot smell like shit. I don't know how many guys, it doesn't matter, even in the gym, wherever you go, you cannot afford to be smelling like fucking BO and like shit, unwashed, bad hygiene. It's just disgusting. It doesn't matter if you're attractive. Even the 10 out of 10 model looking guys, if they walk up to a girl and start talking to them, the girl will be impressed by their looks, but once they get close, if they stink like shit, if they smell of BO, then it's instantly, the girl is instantly off them. You can't work around this any other way. So you have to be smelling good. And how do you smell good? Well, you have to be showering regularly. I don't even know why I should or have to give this advice, but even some of the people I know, they're not showering regularly and they stink like fucking shit. Like, I have a friend, and I'm trying to get him off this. He only showers at nighttime, and I used to do the exact same thing. I used to go to school, go to work, do whatever, and I used to only shower at night. But what you're not realizing is that you're gonna go to bed clean, but when you're rolling around in your fucking sweaty bed and you're probably fucking jacking off, bro, you get stinky throughout the night. Like it's 8 to 10 hours of just sleep and like being in the same stagnant position, and your body generates odor, and you wake up in the morning, you put your clothes on, you put clean clothes on, but the base foundation of your body is starting to get stinky and dirty. And then you start smelling like absolute fucking shit early in the day. So then you're going to lose attraction, you're going to lose respect, and you're just going to be looked at weirdly, and it's kind of fucking disgusting. So I would recommend showering at morning and night, and that's what I've been incorporating for the last like 5 years. I never used to do it, but when I started doing it, I noticed I was treated way better because I didn't stink. The second thing is also related to smell, and it's about having bad breath. You have to brush your teeth. If you have shit teeth, it doesn't matter that much. If your fucking breath stinks when someone gets close to you, you're instantly fucking out of the game. So brush your teeth, don't be stupid. These are basic non-negotiable things that you have to do. Now, on to the short-term things. There are 2 or 3 main steps I want to tell you, and the first one is about grooming, right? You need to actually go and get a proper haircut. You need to go and get your hair trimmed. I used to think that, just letting my hair grow out and be all fucking weird was the way to go, but no, you need to experiment. And if you're young, you can experiment. You may look like shit for a couple days or a couple weeks, but eventually it comes good, and eventually you'll learn your style. And you'll hear a lot of people on the internet say not to worry about hairstyle, because if you just have a chiseled aesthetic facial feature and facial structure, then hair doesn't matter, bro. Well, that's for people who have naturally aesthetic, good-looking faces. Chances are we were not born like that. We were not the guys that had the fucking Chad jawline and the super hollow, high cheekbones. We had some kind of flaw in our facial aesthetic, so we need to fix that, make up for it by changing how our facial shape looks, and you can do that via grooming and via a haircut. I personally have experimented with different haircuts for my head shape. I have more of a rounder face, so low taper things just off the ear with it, like a low fade, which is where they like cut it really short and it slowly like tapers up. That's good for me, but it doesn't come too far up, because if I get it tapered right up here and this is all thin here, then my head just looks fucking retarded. So you need to look at what suits you and experiment. It's not going to be a one size fits all. You can go to the barber, ask them. That's what I do. I said, hey bro, like, what do you think would actually suit my hair the best? What would you think, would look better on me? And then I make the decision based off that. And the second thing is about your facial hair grooming. If you can grow facial hair, which I can just hardly, then it's worth experimenting with your hair and different styles and different combinations, because you can go from looking like a fucking 1 out of 10, like I did, where I had a mustache, a thicker mustache, but short hair. I looked like a fucking idiot. You can go from a 1 out of 10 like that to having a, different style, like having a goatee or a short stubble or no mustache. You can experiment with so many things, and you'll find a style that fits you and actually makes you think, fuck, this actually looks all right. And I'm keeping this goatee right now because I've had a couple girls tell me that it makes me look more masculine, which is exactly what I want. I don't want to look like a little boy. I don't want to look like a TikTok faggot. I want to look like a young man who's confident, right? So I'm going to keep this for now and still experiment, but that's one thing I've learned. And everyone's style is going to be different. You just have to find yours. Thing that nobody really talks about. Everybody in the, improving looks, the looksmaxxing community, all this stuff is too concerned about the face and pulling their fucking cheekbones out and fucking pressing on their palate and stuff. Yeah, it probably works. I haven't tried it long enough to see results. But a lot of the thing that's going to determine your first impression is how you dress and what you're actually wearing. So I encourage you to do what I did and allocate like $100, $100, $50 even to getting the staples, the fundamental male attractive outfit things that you need to actually go from looking stupid to looking attractive and improving your looks, because your clothing is taking up a large part of your body. It's not just about your face. So if you can accentuate your face and your physique with your clothing, then you're going to gain points and be able to ascend and look better as well, not just in the face department, but overall. So the staples that you need to get, I recommend you get, is to get a fitted black t-shirt, like a basic ass black t-shirt, right? So that is like one that hugs your arms. It looks nice. It's kind of slim fit. I buy these for like $15 from H&M. You can probably go to any like basic cheap store and buy the same kind of thing. Make sure it hugs your arms and makes your arms look kind of big and accentuates your frame. And then the second thing is getting a pair of decent pants. And I remember wearing all sorts of different types of pants. I used to wear like baggy joggers, tight skinny jeans. Don't wear tight skinny jeans. I recommend getting a semi-baggy pair of like cargo pants, probably in a black color as well, or some neutral color. You don't want to be wearing red cargo pants or fucking pink cargo pants. I recommend something like a cream color, a black color, maybe even white or gray, something that's very neutral. That's another tip. You want to be dressing in more neutral colors because, let's face it, there's less room for us to fuck up that way, because you're probably like me and probably try and be different, but sometimes being different is not good. You need to stick to the basics. So the two fundamental things is get some semi-baggy cargo pants for your everyday wear, which can be black or some kind of neutral basic color, and then get a tight, slim-fitting black t-shirt or something along those lines, also gray or white, that makes your physique look good. And it's gonna be cheap as fuck. You don't need to go out here and buy Gucci and fucking Louis Vuitton and designer, because half the time they make you look worse anyway. The guy that has, basic clothes but has a good presentation is the guy who will look better, right? You don't want to have to compensate with all these Gucci and Louis Vuitton bullshit brands. And the way we can actually accentuate our physique and make us look good in basic clothes, basic black clothes instead of designer brands, is by the first long-term solution, right? So we're done with the short-term solutions, which is improve your grooming, which some tips I gave you, and allocate some money to actually improving your clothing and your wardrobe by getting the two staples. And then make sure you don't stink like shit, right? Just wash, shower, and if you want to invest in some kind of cologne, just buy like a $10 cologne from the nearest pharmacy or chemist, so you don't smell like shit. You just smell like, somewhat decent, right? You don't have to get $300 fucking limited edition cologne, right? That's advanced. We're at the basic steps right now. So then they're the short-term solutions. So the long-term solutions, how do we actually look good in these basic fitting clothes and not have to wear designer? Well, it's by improving our physique. And the way we're going to improve our physique, we're going to be specifically building the V taper physique. And over time, this is going to develop into something that is super attractive and able to ascend us in the look scale. I attribute 90% of my success to building a V-taper physique, which is basically where we have a small waist and we have broad shoulders that give us the shape of looking like an upside down triangle. Once we have that, it is biologically more attractive to women from range. If they see you, remember, first impressions matter. If someone sees you with a V-taper physique from far away and you're wearing nice black fitted clothing that will make you look taller as well, all black makes you look taller. But if you're wearing nice fitting clothing and you have a V-taper physique, then it's fucking game over. You're going to be able to go from, even if your face is a 2 out of 10, you're still going to suddenly be perceived as like a 4 or a 5. And then if you're doing the other aesthetic things to your face, like getting a better haircut and getting a better trim, then you're going to be, able to be above average. And if you have an above average physique and above average face, then you're going to get some kind of success. You're going to be able to improve your life drastically, right? Drastically, because it's not linear, it's very exponential, the curve, the distribution of success and in terms of looks. So that's the first thing, the long-term solution, and this will take some time to build, and you'll notice that as you build it more and more and more, your attractiveness will go up and up and up. And really interesting fact that I noticed in my own personal experience is that when I improved my physique, my face structure actually changed as a result, because I was becoming more masculine, because my testosterone and my hormones were being more optimized, because I was doing something that we as young men are meant to do, and that is lift weights and exercise and get stronger and develop our bone mass over our total body, right? So my face structure actually got more attractive and better when I was actually focusing on the gym and fitness, which is weird because I didn't have to do any manipulation techniques. I just worked out, which is fun as fuck, and I got improvements, right? So that's the first long-term solution, and this should be something you focus on for the rest of your life. It is going to be that for me. The second thing is fixing your diet. See, a lot of guys have acne, a lot of guys have bullshit skin, a lot of guys have all sorts of problems, and they think that the solution to this is just taking medication, but the solution is often their diet. And I used to have some breakouts, some blemishes, not anything severe like some guys, but it's a matter of, you know, being a 5 out of 10 versus an 8 out of 10. If you have acne all over your face, you're instantly just being reduced. If you have pimples and shit, you're instantly just being reduced. It's like, it's this weird sign of like childish, like prepubescent. It's just ugly. It's just ugly. And I can't really speak on it too much because I never really had it myself. But I was able to clear up the blemishes and shit that I did have by fixing my diet. And the diet that I was following back in the day was like lots of refined carbs, lots of bullshit colored foods and everything. And I noticed that when I have these foods now as a cheat meal or as a treat or something like that, then I noticed that I start breaking out again. So there's a direct correlation between the diet and the quality of your skin and your face. So the diet I'd recommend is something that's more like a warrior diet instead of this processed bullshit diet. So start eating things that are more like warrior based, like a fucking Spartan. Eat things like meat, eat things like eggs, eat things that are natural. Basically, you just have to stick to a whole foods diet. It's not really that hard when you think about it. And once you incorporate a diet like this and incorporate better foods, you'll notice that your skin starts to fix, your mood starts to fix, your health fixes in general, and you look better as well because you're providing your body with the optimal things it needs to improve bone structure, to improve facial attractiveness, to get rid of bullshit blemishes and stuff on your face, to grow thicker, better hair, all these things. And bro, once you look better, once you do this and you get that elevated mood and you get those better looks, then it channels directly over into every other aspect of your life as well, right? Because if we go from being a 3 out of 10 to implementing these strategies, right, which are easy, they're nothing like, they're not surgical, they're easy, they're cheap, and they're not something that you have to like manipulate and put a lot of hard, direct effort into. It's mainly stuff that is like either subconscious or it's like a secondary result. Like you get the primary benefit from building a physique, which is getting muscle, but as a secondary result, you improve your face. So you're literally getting a double down of looks improvement, right? So I'm confident that you can go from a 3 out of 10, a 2 out of 10, a 1 out of 10 even, an ugly fuck, just like I did. I was absolutely fucking cooked. And now I'm not saying I'm some fucking supermodel now, but I think I look better than what I did, which is, you know, an improvement, and we're trying to improve. And look, if you want to improve more and you want to go from someone who's a loser, an ugly loser, to somebody who's aesthetic, somebody who can have the confidence to get girls and make friends, then check out the link in the description. It's my community. I put all my knowledge in there, and I think it can truly, truly help you because I know how shit it feels. I know the terrible feeling of being a fucking loser, a geek, with no friends and no attraction from girls, fucking skinny ass virgin, to now being somebody who is able to attract girls and be confident, has a good physique, all these positive things, and is overall a better man. So if you're interested, check that. I'll give you personal help, and there's many, many courses inside there that I've made myself with my own exclusive tips that people don't really talk about that will help you. So check that out. But the main thing I want to close with is that you have to understand, you have to believe that it is possible. I'm 100% confident that if you just put in the work in the short term, in the next, you know, day or two, you can achieve like a 2-point boost to your attractiveness. And then in the coming 6 months to a year or 2-3 years, if you go to the gym, if you fix your diet, then you can constantly build and build and build. And before you know it, you'll look back on old pictures of yourself just like I did and be like, holy fuck, was that really me? I was a fucking cooked as fuck. See, don't just let puberty take its course and turn you into somebody who, you know, you were meant to look like, right? Actually take action and influence the growth of your own body and the development of your own face by doing these good habits, right? By first fixing the external things like your hair and like your grooming and making sure you don't smell bad and all this stuff, doing the external actions like showering, getting a haircut, but also doing the things that will change your actual physiology and your biology, which is improving your diet and building a masculine V-taper physique. Then once you have all these things down pat, you'll notice that you can achieve more in life. More things come to you, because when you look good, right? When you look good, you feel good, and vice versa. So when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you look good. And when you look and feel good, you will act good and you will act confident. You will act like the man you should be and like you want to be. It all comes down to developing your looks first. And you can do this by the short-term and long-term methods I've just explained. And if you want more help, remember, click the link in the description for my community, where I'll give you personal help on how to do stuff like this, go from a loser to being somebody who's confident and getting shit done in life. That being said, that is all. And remember that progress is purpose. Just make any small changes and you'll be becoming purposeful and moving towards the goals of being more attractive and getting more attraction and more respect in life. That being said, peace out.